Hi, Sean here, one half of Sean and Kiara. We are the co-creators of Lucy in the Sky, a graphic novel for middle grade readers published by First Second. Our second graphic novel, Rhiannon, will be out in October of 2025. If you like the things we do, please consider supporting us by becoming a paying member of our Patreon site for $4 a month. And if you enjoy videos like this, hit the like and subscribe buttons, as it'll help us build this channel. Thank you, and enjoy the video. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Reading Batman, my personal and critical reading of some of my favorite Batman stories. And this particular story is a story that I first read in an issue of Batman Family, which was a sort of a anthology series that ran in the 70s. And it would usually feature a main story featuring Robin and Batgirl. They were sort of like the main characters of the main story, and then they would reprint, and that would be a new story, and then they would reprint older stories, usually from the Golden Age or the Silver Age. And I remember this one. I'm doing this one because this one struck me. Somehow rather strongly. It left a strong impression on me. And so the version of it that we're looking at right now is not from Batman Family, but it's from a scan of the original issue of Batman number 26, which I believe is from 1944. And in the issue of Batman Family that I read it originally, I think it went under the title Batman of the Future, something like that. Here on the splash page, it doesn't really give a definite title. It might be the year 3000, but nothing obvious is the title. And I think that the thing that I found most striking about this story was how odd it was. Not that those Batman stories from the 40s and 50s weren't odd, because they could be really strange, but this one was especially strange. And the artwork seemed a little bit different, although it is by Dick Sprang and Jerry Robinson. You don't see the credits here on this page, but it's clearly Jerry Robinson. Must have done the pencils, I guess. Really, you can. There's sort of telltale signs of his artwork, especially when you're looking at a person from behind. The way he draws people's ears in the back of their head, and the coloring is just weird in here. And then especially the villains, who are these aliens from Saturn, were especially strange. And in the Batman Family, the coloring was a little bit more saturated. They had deeper green. They look a little bit lighter here, but they're just their physique. They have these weird sort of wiry limbs and flat paddle-like hands. It makes them look kind of like bendy toys. And then this sort of weird ear structure that I don't know if it's supposed to be an ear or a helmet or what. At any rate, the whole thing was just sort of unlike a lot of the other stories that I'd read. So let's read it. This story concerns Batman and Robin, yet Batman and Robin do not appear in it. For it is not a story about Batman and Robin. Rather, it is a story of people, ordinary people like you and me, people who like our government, that gives us life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and are willing to fight for it. These are the people you shall read about, a people of tomorrow, for it is a story of the year 3000. This is kind of a nice page here, how it's laid out. It's a little clunky, but it's really some nice drawing. At the turn of the century, the year 3000 saw the Earth reach the peak of its development. Swiftly, gloriously, it rose toward the clouds. Interplanetary travel and trade, as foreseen by H.G. Wells and Jules Verne, had become a reality. For it was a world at peace, where only scientists and teachers made war on disease and ignorance. and the children played under the warm sun instead of cowering in underground air raid shelters. The children, they look very Aryan, their blonde hair. And then we have some directional arrows here, because kind of naturally you want to go here, but we go here instead. And then on April 10th, 3000 AD, at exactly 9:12 a.m., came the Blitzkrieg stab in the back. Saturn attacked Earth. So some echoes of World War II here, which would have been going on at the time of this that the strip was done. Caught and prepared after more than a century of peace, Earth's proud cities crumpled before the onslaught of the grotesque space invaders. From his stronghold on the planet Saturn, Fura, the warlord, ruled the Earth. So again, Fura. It's a lot like the Führer. First Earth, and then Mars, then Mercury, and tomorrow the rest of the solar system. Saturn shall be the master of the world. This is the world of the moment, a world in a concentration camp. Now, this is one of the other things that I found odd about this story is the blue coloring of the hair. You know, normally the blue is used as a highlight to indicate black hair, but it looks like they actually have blue hair. And our Bruce stand-in says, the new order. Political prisoners, scientists, and honest writers in chains, watching them get herded off into the concentration camp. Saturnians, barbarians, they've smashed our cities and our lives. Ricky, Brain, see down there at the bottom of the atomic bomb crater, a long tube. So their names are Ricky and Brain. So Ricky, that makes sense for Dick. Brain. So that was another thing. That was another thing I found odd about it, that they should call the Bruce Wayne character Brain. Curious, the two investigate. Looks like a 20th century undersea torpedo. Has some engraving on it. And they see that it's from the World's Fair 1939 time capsule. 1939, wow, that's way back. I faintly remember my great-grandfather talking about this. Ricky, this is a find. Employing an anti-gravity belt to lift the ton-heavy capsule, the two sneak it home, and a handsaw opens the cylinder to reveal its contents, samples of a century past. An ancient watch, can opener, razor, coins, bills. Golly, this stuff has whiskers on it. And here is microfilm and directions for building an old-fashioned motion picture projection machine to show the film. Later, with mounting excitement, the two read the thrilling text of a history almost forgotten in their time. And the film says, and so the colonists were liberated, George Washington was elected president, and the Americans turned eager eyes toward a future where only free men would walk the earth. Very patriotic tone, like many of the stories from this era. Ricky says, turn eager eyes toward the future, where only free men could walk the earth. We're the future, and look at us, slaves. Not for long, Rick. They won their freedom, and we'll win ours. They fought for it, and we'll fight for it. Later, in an ancient subway tunnel, Earthlings listened to Brain's impassioned plea. In 1776, the colonists fought for freedom. We too must fight. We have no weapons. The Saturnians have atom cannon and disintegrator rifles. The weapons of the Americans of 76 was not guns, but their overpowering love of liberty. This is ancient history. It won't work today. The Saturnians can't be conquered. Soon, the tunnel is empty, but for Brain and a girl. Brain, I'm glad it's you I'm going to marry instead of one of those spineless cowards. Laurel, dear, they're not cowards. They've taken freedom for granted. So long they've forgotten how to fight for it. I really like the profile that they've given Brain here. And I almost wonder if there was a model reference used for this picture of Laurel. It looks a little too good. Later, after leaving his fiancée, still using the projector? Say, who are that masked man and boy? That's Batman and Robin, the boy wonder. This is a newsreel picture showing them in action. Batman, the name, that costume seems familiar somehow. What did the text say about them? It said that alone they fought crime and evil, were champions of justice, the inspiration of the people, and living proof of man's indomitable courage. Yes, that's it. That's what's needed. A champion and inspiration and living proof of man's courage. Meanwhile, from Saturn, Fura speaks to his subordinates by space televisor. From this day on, all Earthlings found on the streets after 9 o'clock will be disintegrated. Yes, my leader, fealty to Fura. Humans, bah. You deprive them of food and liberty, then give them just a little of both, like throwing scraps of food to a dog. And they fawn on you and are your slaves. Controlling them is a science. They all react the same. They are like robots. Robots, haha, good joke. Robots, haha. So you wonder, what makes, why is that joke so funny? One wonders. 9 o'clock, death's curfew. Death's curfew. With almost mechanical deliberation, the emotionless Saturnians obey their leader's order. Please, we only live down the street. It's after curfew. Disintegrate them. Please, not my son. He's only a boy. Suddenly, two grim figures leap from the shadows. Let him have it. Check. But wait. Those mantled too, that peppy battle jargon, it strikes a chord. It doesn't seem possible, but we must believe our eyes. These are Batman and Robin in the year 3000. Robin, I thought these fellows were supposed to be tough. Maybe they are Batman, but now they're getting some competition. It's all right. You can go home now. Oh, bless you, sir. Bless you both. I know some Earth people who can make good use of these. But this is only the beginning of a series of daring guerrilla raids and sabotage by a two-man army. That's one more factory less to produce weapons for the enemy. A man and a boy against the whole Saturnian army. Incredible? No, for this is history. Out you go, chums. Night after night they strike and then steal away to merge with the shadows of which they seem a part. Food from starving Earth people, will you? Rats. Thieving rats. It looks like the Saturnians, for some reason, are taking the food from a food market. A man and a boy, they are the stuff of which heroes are made. Heroes and liberators of enslaved people. And they're busting out a concentration camp in a very interesting-looking vehicle. It looks like a cross between a helicopter and a plane and the Batmobile. Come on, folks. Do you want to stay here forever? It kind of looks like a propeller on the top, but it must be like a platform because he's standing on top of it. And as the people are running out, they're going, coming, free, we'll be free. Soon their names become familiar to the people of the Earth. For the Earth people, who will need them to fight with someday soon, compliments of Batman and Robin, a huge pile of weapons. And their names are also familiar, so very familiar to the Saturnians. All our ammunition is gone. He was here, the Batman. He's left his calling card there. Batman, the word spreads like wildfire, and there is many a thought about him. The records show that he lived in the 20th century, but that would make him over 1,000 years old. Perhaps he used a time machine to travel to our time. At that moment, it's the bed for me tonight. I'm tired. Me too. We did a good night's work. Brain, I think your Batman plan is working. You've got the people all excited. And inspired, I hope. They've all thought no men could beat the Saturnians, and now I think they're changing their minds. And so they are. For the first time since the invasion, Earth people stare at the Saturnians with bold and scornful eyes. Invincible, eh? The Batman certainly scotched that rumor. Maybe soon we'll do something about that, too. And Fura suddenly realizes that all men are not robots, and that they can be expected to do the unexpected. You must find and disintegrate this Batman and Robin. Yes, my leader, fealty to Fura. Even as he speaks, in the war wing of the Museum of Ancient History, the people can use any weapons, even if they are archaic 20th century machine guns and grenades. This book here, I think it's going to help us. They grab a book called Commando Battle Tactics. And when morning comes, say, Don't tell me you've been up all night reading that book. I have, and this book has given me the best idea I've had yet. I've got to speak to the people. Once again, Brain speaks to the people, and this time they listen, for he speaks in the garb of Batman. Well, are we going to crawl or fight like men? Fight, fight. So it begins, the toughening up process. Judo, obstacle charges. But Brain finds being Batman has its drawbacks. Why is it you haven't joined the Batman's commando classes? I changed my mind. I think we'd be fools to fight the Saturnians. And I thought you were a man. Well, I can change my mind, too. You can keep your engagement ring. Gosh, Ricky, how can I explain? I can't very well be both Brain and Batman at the classes. You can explain after this is all over. Meanwhile, we've got a job to do. A job to do. And on the night that will live forever in the annals of history, the commandos of 3000 attack the invader. Let 'em have it. Yahoo! And then from out of the sky pours the new secret weapon constructed by the Earth people in private, the Sky Sled. Surprise, surprise. Saturnian fighter ships attempt to counterattack, but the tiny, speedy, easily maneuverable Sky Sleds prove too much for the clumsier, heavier ships. Commando tactics, precise clockwork warfare, every man to his job, every trick brought into play. You know, these Saturnians, they look kind of flimsy. I guess it's their weapons, but they look like bendy toys. Not too hard to beat. Earthman courage coupled with commando tactics proved too much for stolid Saturnian strategy. We've won. We've beaten them. Wait, we're not finished yet. We've got to attack Saturn now before Fura can attack Earth again. Attack Saturn, that's suicide. I say we stay here and make a stand. We were just lucky before, Batman. We're not professional fighting men. In answer, Brain whips away his cowl and stands revealed. Brain! Yes, me. Am I a professional fighting man, or am I just a man like you? I only adopted this Batman disguise because I knew you never believe in just Brain himself. But now that I've proved that all of us common people together can lick the enemy, are we going to back down? We're with you. No, on to Saturn. Brain, I'm so ashamed. Please forgive me and come back from Saturn. Come back to me. I must come back now. And that very night, a vast fleet of space fighters rockets from Earth and heads towards the ringed planet Saturn. As morning comes, Saturn, there, seeming to fill the sky in this unusual, incredible planet with its rainbow ring of dust. Look, fighter ships are coming to meet us. Order the men to battle stations and release the Sky Sleds. We're going to have a fight on our hands. Earth versus Saturn, the War of the Worlds. Also, kind of current, the War of the Worlds radio broadcast was not too long before this. But the Earth Force is too powerful, for it consists of recovered Earth ships, the commandeered Saturnian ships, and the Sky Sleds, and so the Earth Force lands on Saturn. Here they come. Pour it into them. Boys, that looks like a sort of electric power building. Better blow it up. The tower is blasted, and then a queer thing happens. The Saturnians are stopping. They're dropping their weapons. They certainly seem to have lost their machine-like precision. And now they're dropping like flies. This is absolutely crazy. They're falling as if they're suddenly struck dead. Awestruck, the Earthmen advance, and then Batman examines a smashed Saturnian and makes an astounding discovery. Wires, tubes, electrical apparatus, synthetic flesh, all the Saturnian soldiers, here on Earth. They're robots, all robots. Robots, so that's why they were so mechanical and machine-like when obeying Fura's orders. When we blasted the control tower, it short-circuited them, and they died. Every last robot. But aren't there any Saturnians who aren't Fura's robots? And out they come. Yes, we who come from the underground. We who hid, yet fought against Fura. We are not robots, but true Saturnians. You've liberated us from a madman's dream. We are grateful. But why did Fura disguise his robots as men? He wanted you all to think that Saturnians were human robots, whose only emotion was their love for their Fura, and who would follow his every command. A good psychological way to frighten Earth people. But he forgot we weren't robots and could think and fight back. Look, it must be Fura in a Strato rocket suit. He's trying to escape to our moon Titan. Quick, get me a Strato suit. Hurry. Swift as a meteor, Batman hurtles through space as Fura wheels in flight and draws a disintegrator pistol. There's a lot of these kind of, what do you call this? Staggered panels like this, or tiers, which make it kind of confusing to which way you're supposed to read. And there, 2,000 miles in the stratosphere, Earthmen and Saturnian lock in a death battle. Suddenly, Fura tries to pull free. The gun blasts lurid flame, and then, I'm freezing to death. Editor's note, Fura was freezing to death because the air was rushing into the hole in his suit. And in the stratosphere, space night is 200 degrees below zero. A little science fact there. And so, tumbling and twisting, Fura drifts away in space, and he and his great schemes are mere dust in the infinite, immeasurable majesty of the vast universe. It's quite a sentence. Next day, grateful Saturnians watch the Earthmen head for home. On Earth, a tremendous ovation awaits the returning heroes, and in a televisor control booth, Brain, the people are asking for you. Will you speak into this televisor here? Yes, I'll speak to them. And we have won our peace and freedom, but we must never again relax our vigilance, for peace and freedom are far too precious ever to be left unguarded again. Now we can look forward to the future and forget the past. No, Laurel, we must never forget that the past reveals our past mistakes and glories both. Remember, we won now because of a text on American history and a book on commando warfare. And don't forget that Batman and Robin gave us a few pointers too. Brain, I'm curious about your real name. We streamline everything in this modern age so that we even run our first and last names together. Mine, is Laura Hall. But you never told me yours. I'm the 20th direct descendant of my family to bear my first name and last name. But I thought you knew it was Wayne. Bruce Wayne. The end. So I guess it's a coincidence, or maybe it's fate, that the descendant of Bruce Wayne, also called Bruce Wayne, should take up the character of Batman. One thing about the story is it really kind of foreshadows a lot of the spacey, sci-fi flavored Batman stories that come later in the 50s. This was from the Warriors, but this kind of thing becomes more common as we get into the Silver Age. Okay, so there you have it. Batman of the year 3000. Hope you join me again for another Reading Batman next time.